Okay.
Did we knock? Can I knock on the door?
Little slit opens up at about knee level. Yeah, who's that?
Oh god.
Oh, greetings, my friend.
One second.
I'll stand aside so that he can see.
The slit goes shut, and you hear some moving around in the back. And you see, hear what seems to be feet going up steps behind the door. And a slit opens up at eye level. Hey, what can I do for you? You see a pair of yellow eyes gleaming through.
I'll stand aside so that Colin can see this guy, so he knows what his business is.
Colin will step forward. Ah, yes. I'm here to inspect the warehouse. I believe we have a appointment for today. Ah, yeah. Come on in. Shuts. You hear feet going down steps, and then the door swings open inwards. Then a little goblin walks around the door frame. Hi there.
Oh. Greetings, sir. I'll let my hand will instantly go to my sword hilt. Not to draw it, just like the other hand.
He looks at you.
I'm looking a bit wary.
Yeah. Yes, I get that a lot. I know there's goblins in the spire. Yes, yes, yes. We're easy to kill enemies, blah, 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 blah. Easy prey. We're not very nice. I'm not one of them. I'm an actual goblin. Not some magical creation of the spire.
Ah, I won't say you're easy to kill, my friend.
You're probably not helping your point here, Simeon.
Definitely. Yes, perhaps another time. Anyway, I'll gesture in to Colin. Actually, no. I guess I'll walk in ahead of him. Actually,
Okay.
Sort of give a quick scan of the room.
Doom, as we go inside, can Nagrax roll perception to see if he notices anyone watching Cassandra?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. 1 second.
You do not notice anyone watching. You
Okay.
see people going about their business.
Nagrax won't say anything and just follow the others in then.
As you enter inside, you enter into a reception area. It's decently spaced. The door shuts. You see there seems to be like ladder work set up by the door with 3 different levels of eye slits for the goblins to be able to climb up to actually get different heights. You see several other goblins walking around, moving crates, etc. And you start making your way through a series of corridors into a main large open warehouse, which is deceptively large, considering what it looked like from the outside. There are piles of crates dotted about everywhere. There's an upper catwalk and a handful of small rooms, consumed most likely break rooms. And goblins going about the business, a handful of other clients looking over merchandise.
Could I ask Finian to remain in the main reception area?
Yeah, sure, I will do.
If there's any trouble, then I'll just gesture to my method rock.
He nods. And he goes and stands by the door. One of the goblins will notice this, and they'll keep an eye on him as well.
I'll lean to the other two. Never be too careful. You have to expect the worst. It's kind of work.
Considering our fortunes recently, I suppose we can't be too careful, as they say.
Exactly.
Colin begins walking around the warehouse, inspecting stock that's already there, looking through the walls, etc., looking for dampness. What do you all do whilst he's doing this?
I think Nagrax will just be scanning his surroundings, just making sure that no one is acting out of turn. I suppose really things like if people are reacting to this guy going around, whether they seem to look visibly uncomfortable, whether they seem to start talking amongst themselves, if they suddenly break off from what they're doing, that sort of thing.
Okay, roll general perception for that.
Okay.
Again.
Can I don't know if this is like any sort of real life warehouse where there's like windows near the roof.
Yes, indeed there is.
Can I have a scanning those?
Now go ahead, roll your perception for that. Okay, I'll do Namgrex first. And Namgrex, as you look around, people generally don't seem bothered by someone else walking around. The goblins occasionally look over, but other than that, it's just another day for everybody else.
I'd probably say that in general, I won't ask for another perception roll, but I think Nigrex will be looking at. You mentioned that there were upper walkways.
Yes, there are.
If possible, I'd like him to generally be looking at those on both sides, or however, if he goes around, just to generally look at them, just to make sure that there's no one kind of moving from above.
Okie dokie.
And kind of trust the others to keep an eye on things on ground level.
As you look around, Simeon, you generally don't really see much from the windows. Most of them are quite dirty. They don't seem to have been cleaned at all, really, to be honest. You can see cobwebs in them.
Cool.
As Colin continues his inspection, Nagrex, you're looking at the upper catwalks. You see a figure walk out along them, generally looking over. It seems to be a human figure. He's leaning on the railings, looking down at you all.
Are they looking at us specifically, or are they kind of just surveying the room?
It seemed like they were surveying the room, but they kind of fixated the gaze onto your group.
What does this person look like? Do they look like that they might be somebody who is running the warehouse? Like, are they dressed quite differently to the other workers?
They're dressed quite commonly, like the rest of the workers. Essentially in overalls, bib up, shirt on. It's a male human.
What's their body language
He's in his
like?
younger layers. He seems to be. He's just curious, I'd say. From the body language, he's a bit standoffish, but he seems to just be wondering what you're doing. It's your best estimate.
Okay. Nigrex will notice this, and he'll just kind of is Nigrex actually blocking his view of the guy doing the inspections?
No. Colin is moving around. He's and your guys are moving around with him.
I don't think Nigrex would address him unless he's addressed first.
Okay.
So he'll pay attention to this. He might, if he appears standoffish, he might occasionally just look back, but not looking at him so it seems like he's singling him out specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of keep an idea in his general position.
Would I'm trying to keep my eye on Colin, but would I notice Nagrex? Would I notice his behaviour looking back at this guy?
I'd say you'd probably be quite occupied with a combination of Colin and looking towards the windows.
Yeah, and Nigrex hasn't said anything to you, so I don't suppose you'd have any way of knowing that that's what he's doing specifically.
Sure.
Do you do anything in particular, Flint?
No, I'm keeping an eye on Colin whilst looking over my book.
Okie dokie. You're there for around about an hour as Colin speaks with the goblin. He talks about the damp in a particular spot in the warehouse in particular, and making sure that he gets a spot which is going to be further away from that dampness. And they haggle a little bit about another purchase coming in and taking that spot. Colin hands over a small bag of gold, and that quickly solves that problem. And then Colin turns to you all. Okay, we'll be on our way to the next one, I believe.
Very good.
Our business is done here. It's quite good quality warehouse. There's no mud for a start. You'd be surprised how many have mud.
I haven't seen many warehouses in my time, but it wouldn't surprise me, sir.
You guys make your way back out the front entrance. Finian rejoins you all. And you start making your way down the streets and towards the next one.
Doom, just as we leave, as Nigrex is leaving, has that guy moved? Or did he just stay staring at us the entire time? And did he move as we left?
He generally stayed staring at you guys until you started to seem like you were leaving, then he just changed his focus to something else. just other crowds that were there.
I see. Okay.
So you're back out in the streets and you're generally making your way. I'd say it takes about 5 minutes to reach the next destination.
Would say Nagrax would be looking at the streets again just to see if like there's anyone following, I suppose.
Roll your perception.
Yeah, I'm scanning the crowds too.
21.
Damn. We're not usually perceptive.
Nagrax has had a couple of decent perception rolls, but they are few and far between, admittedly.
You catch a head dot around corner to one alley as you guys go past.
Does it look familiar, or a head I
No.
may have seen in recent memory? Okay.
It was just a quick movement that you caught out the corner of your eye as you're about 2 minutes away.
Okay. I think Nagrax will mention to who's nearest to Nagrax at the moment?
Flint.
Okay.
You were in center.
I think sort of just to avoid alarming Colin, Alex just mentioned something. It's probably nothing, but I just saw something dart around the corner. We may be followed. Just remain vigilant, just in case.
Okay. I'll be like on high alert, stop trying to read my book as I'm walking.
You guys make your way to the next residence. This one is a lot more obvious than the previous one of how big of a warehouse it is. It's a very large brick building, connected to a series of other buildings as well on both sides, with an alley that goes kind of through one of the buildings. It's kind of got like a little archway. The main door is a wooden, rickety-looking one, not in the best of repair. You notice that some of the windows on the upper side of the warehouse seem to be broken from the outside, on the side streets at least.
Is it the one Simeon threw a rock through?
No, that was a hospital.
That
Oh,
monster.
fair enough.
Seeing this building being in a state of disrepair, is this the less affluent area of this district?
Not. Yeah, I'd say it's a less affluent area in this particular district. The buildings seem to be in a bit less, well, a bit more disrepair.
The people who are around this area, do any of them look like, sort of like, for example, the people we saw outside the hospital who were, quite distinctly ruffians?
Roll perception.
17.
People do generally seem to be a bit rougher, and you see people who have marks on them a lot more frequently. Some are bruised, some have cuts.
Okay.
It seems like people might brawl a little bit more in this particular sector.
Okay, I think Nigrax will just mention to Simeon in that case. He'll say, maybe be on high alert here. Given the state of the building and some of the people look like they may be more battle ready, if you understand my meaning.
Of course. I'll spot them coming. I have the eyes of a hawk.
I think Nigrax noticing that will probably check, like, if anyone is following as they go into this building, but...
I thought you were going to say he's going to check see if Simeon's eyes are like, oh.
I was expecting that, to be honest, as well.
Yeah.
Checking what, sorry?
I thought you were going to say if you were actually going to check see if Simeon's eyes are indeed like a hawk.
Yeah, excellent. Nah, not on this occasion. But yeah, he'll just be kind of looking at the crowd as we go into the building, so it depends if you guys want to do anything first before that.
I guess I'll approach the door and knock again.
You knock on the door. It seems like it's not particularly a solid door. And you hear footsteps approaching the door. What is it?
An inspection.
An inspection for what? Listen, we don't have lice. How many times do I have to tell you? But the door opens and there's a bit of a haggard-looking man inside. listen, we don't have lice. It was a lie that was spread by the other warehouses just to make us lose business, alright?
I'll speak a bit low to him. Wouldn't mention that too loud if I were you. And I'll step aside to let Colin in.
You notice Colin in the fine clothes. Can I help you?
My lord. I'll whisper in his ear. My lord.
My lord? Yes, I am here to perform an inspection as we previously discussed through letter. Oh, right. Sorry about that. Yeah, sure. Just come in. He kind of scoots to the side and waves people in. As you guys go in, you notice a little bit of a a bit of a sweaty smell off him. Which, hygiene isn't exactly a high priority generally for most people in this kind of setting. So he stinks.
It's not a food, right? It's not a food place, is it?
Yeah.
You're in quite a dingy receiving area, it seems. And there are some quite old and unsteady looking chairs dotted around the room. And there seems to be a bit of a reception area immediately looking at it where you can assume that he just came from. There is a metal kind of grate in front of you with a door in it, and you can see another one beyond it, a bit more to the right. Yes, you were here to inspect. What was you here to inspect again? I seem to have misplaced the records, but I do recall you. We are here to inspect the conditions for potentially having stock stored here before it is transported to Faln. Oh, yes, of course. Oh, yes, right this way. With that, he goes into the next area and then opens up the doors and into the main warehouse.
I'll ask Finian to remain in the reception area again.
Okay then. You guys enter into the main warehouse. It's quite large and open. It seems to be rectangular in shape, with you guys entering in from one of the smaller sides. And there are quite a few piles of crates, but they don't seem to be in the best of repair, and it seems to be quite dingy and damp in here. You can see several puddles of water beneath where several of the windows are, in particular.
Can we tell what sort of items are stored here?
Roll and perception.
Eight.
Hey, look over the crates, and they look like crates.
Hmm.
Might have crates in them.
Oh, must have drank something that didn't agree with me. Yeah.
Now as you can see, this looks a very fine place to store your stuff. We've got a few dry patches here and there. You see there's one just over there. He points over to the middle of the warehouse where there's a bit of a dry patch. Yes, quite something, yes. Colin begins walking around the exterior wall, just generally looking at the state of the walls.
Duma,
Starts moving down the left-hand side. Say again?
Sorry, Duma, I was just going to ask, are there many other people around or another mezzanine like the previous warehouse?
No. There doesn't seem to be anybody around. There's also another catwalk and there's a staircase towards the far side away from you.
And Nigrex just quickly roll perception just to see if he senses if there's anyone else actually here.
Go ahead.
16.
As you're generally looking around, surveying the area, it is quite dark inside. There doesn't seem to really be any source of light other than what's coming in through the semi-broken windows. But you do think you see a shadow move towards the far right from you.
The far right. Okay.
Yes.
Is anyone still near Nigrex at the moment?
I'd say that you're kind of semi-clustered near Colin as he's been
Semi-clustered.
moving around.
Think Nagrax, without saying anything, will just kind of tap his arm and point towards the direction of the shadow just to make him aware of it. Nagrax will continue watching that general area just to see whether that is moving any closer to us or whether you can hear anything coming from that same direction.
Okie dokie. As you guys are moving around,
I'll since Nargax is pointing something out to me, I'm gonna. I guess I'll go and look. I'll just say I'll leave him to you, and I'll just sort of look like I'm aimlessly wandering around the warehouse, but I'm gonna go towards that spot. Pretty sure the shadow.
as you start to move towards that spot where the shadow was pointed out, you hear rapid footsteps moving away from you.
Are they moving towards the reception area, Joel?
Yep.
Alright, I'll message Finian. Something coming your way.
Hey, as you message Finian, you suddenly hear the door shut that was behind you. As you turn and look around, you can see that the person that invited you in is gone, and he's now standing on the side of another, basically a series of bars and a pretty sturdy-looking gate. And
I'm gonna full on draw my sword and shield at this point.